Today I am going to share with you some Sanskrit compounds as well as a few derivatives, which are interesting in terms of their reference because it is quite vivid. As Ferdinand de Saussure pointed out, linguistic signs are generally arbitrary in that there is no obvious relationship between the sounds comprising a certain word and what that word signifies. Therefore, that relationship is fixed by convention. However, as we heard last week, not all words are completely arbitrary, insofar as there are words which are phonetically, morphologically, or semantically motivated. Out of these three, semantic motivation is perhaps the most interesting one, since it facilitates retention by connecting a word with the concept it denotes in a memorable way. Compounds with this type of motivation are especially interesting, since they can provide enough information about the properties of a certain object so that we can easily identify it. For example, in English, we have words made of bound morphemes of foreign origin, such as autograph and telephone, which literally mean a writing in one's own hand and a distant sound. In English, there aren't many such words, which describe their reference in a vivid and more or less easily understandable manner, but there is one language that abounds in words that fit the aforementioned description, and that is Sanskrit. This famous ancient Indian language has a vast lexicon that is rich in synonyms for common concepts. Now, before we move on to the examples, I will share with you an interesting fact regarding compounds. As we learned from Professor Vujic in the second year, compounds are divided into endocentric and exocentric compounds, depending on whether the function and the referent of the whole compound and its head match or not. This classification comes from Leonard Bloomfield, the founder of American structuralism. However, after reading a paper by Linguistic, which is cited at the end of this presentation, and the relevant portion of Bloomfield's seminal work Language, I found out that there is substantial evidence to the effect that Bloomfield devised these terms inspired by Patanjali, the author of the best and most extensive commentary on Panini's revolutionary grammar of the Sanskrit language. Commentaries on Panini's grammar, Ashtadhyayi, were very much needed because it is written in a terse aphoristic style, which is very difficult to penetrate for the uninitiated. Commenting on Ashtadhyayi, Book 2, Chapter 1, Sutra, that is verse 69, Patanjali divided all Sanskrit compounds into two types: Swapadartha, those whose sense is one of their own words, and Anyapadartha, those whose sense is an external word. As you can see, the meanings of Patanjali's and Bloomfield's terms match perfectly. In addition, Bloomfield's use of the names of Sanskrit compounds in his explanation of these two types of compounds substantiates this view. Moving on to the examples, here we have four typical endocentric subordinate root compounds. Subordinate compounds are called Tatpurusha in Sanskrit, by the way. So the first example we have here is a well-known one, and that is Himalaya, meaning an abode of snow, that is the Himalayas. The next example is Mahipati, the lord of the earth, that is a king. Then Narendra means the lord of men, that is a king again. And the last example is Mrigendra, the chief among the animals, that is a lion. Next, we have a few parasynthetic subordinate compounds derived by combining a noun or some other part of speech that is not a verb with a bound morpheme denoting the agent of an action expressed by the corresponding verbal root. The first example is Ambuda, meaning water giver, that is a cloud. Jaladhara means water bearer, and that is again a cloud. Padapa means one that drinks with one's own feet, that is roots, which of course refers to a tree. Naga means one that doesn't move, and that is either a tree or less commonly a mountain. Kaga means one that moves in the sky, and that is a bird or less commonly a planet. Dvipa means one that drinks in two ways, and that is an elephant. Elephants can drink either directly with their mouth or using their trunk, so in that way they drink in two ways. Abdi means water receptacle, and it can refer either to a sea or an ocean. Vasudha means wealth producer, and that is the earth. So the earth produces different kinds of minerals, metals, and many other things that can be called wealth. Nripa means the protector of men, that is a king. Divakara means daymaker, that is the sun. The words Ratrikara and Nishakara mean night maker, that is the moon. Atmaja means born from or begotten by oneself, that is a son, and Atmaja refers to a daughter. Agraja means firstborn, and it refers to an elder brother, while the word Agraja refers to an elder sister. Anuja means one who is born afterwards, and that is a younger brother. The word Anuja means a younger sister. Then we have two exocentric compounds which are termed Bahuvrihi in Sanskrit. The first one is Mahabodhi, which literally means great intelligence. That would be its meaning if we interpret it as an endocentric compound. But in this case, it is actually an adjective, and it means very intelligent, but it can also be used as a noun, in which case it refers to a very intelligent person. The word Durbudi means bad intelligence, but its actual meaning is ignorant or foolish if it is used as an adjective, and if it is used as a noun, then it refers to an ignorant or foolish person. Lastly, we have three interesting derivatives. The first one is Shashi, meaning one that has a rabbit mark. The word mark is not explicitly mentioned here, but it is implied. And this word refers to the moon. The motivation for this word and other similar words such as Shashadara, literally rabbit holder, and Shashanka, rabbit marked, derives from the fact that Indians, like many other Asian peoples, such as the Chinese, um, saw a rabbit in the dark gray spots that are visible on the moon. The next word is Shaki, meaning one that has branches, that is a tree, obviously. And the last word is Pakshi, one that has wings, that is a bird. So these were just a few examples to illustrate the peculiarity and memorability of a significant portion of the Sanskrit lexicon, at least as far as basic words are concerned. In conclusion, I just want to add a few words on Panini's influence on modern linguistics. After European scholars discovered and published his work, Panini rightly came to be considered the first descriptive linguist, with some even calling him the father of linguistics, which is not unwarranted to some extent. His work had a major influence on Ferdinand de Saussure, the father of modern linguistics, as well as Leonard Bloomfield, whom we have already mentioned. In his book Language, Bloomfield called Panini's grammar one of the greatest monuments of human intelligence, adding the following: "It describes with the minutest detail every inflection, derivation, and composition, and every syntactic usage of the author's speech. No other language to this day has been so perfectly described." Here you have a short list of references. Thank you for your attention. I hope you liked this presentation and found it informative and interesting.